Hello, Namaste. My name is Tim Halloran. I'm an astrologer in Savannah, Georgia. You can purchase astrology readings from me at the link below. It's the first week of May. Today is Monday the 4th, and we are about 12 hours from our recent full moon in Scorpio. It was about 12:30 in the morning Eastern time on Sunday. Well, that would have been this morning, Monday morning. And it's a powerful full moon. These powerful illuminating lunar energies are still penetrating into us and this world. And you know, it is like these weeks that I am reminded so much of the blessing inherent with understanding astrology. Actually understanding astrology and how to use it the way it's intended. Not using astrology like a Ouija board, but through the understanding that astrology reveals the fact that we are connected to nature. Therefore, us on the individual level, as an individual person, as a human being, it is not all up to us to manifest our experience, to create our reality, because we are co-creators of reality. We are not God. We don't do this all by ourselves. We are part and parcel of nature. We are not all-pervasive nature. We are part and parcel of nature. Which means that as we go into ourselves, we discover the nature that is connected to others, that is connected to the world, that is connected to collective history. And this is tremendously revealing. And I found it funny last week because a concerned viewer posted a comment about the last week's video that was talking about the culminating full moon energy, the build up to this full moon in Scorpio. And they said, hey Tim, are you on meds? Are you undernourished because you're not really looking too good? And it's funny because it's like, am I on meds? No. Am I undernourished? Am I doing anything to maybe not properly do something and that's why I feel that way, the way I came off last week? No. It's because I was reflecting the nature that was going on and coming up. And a full moon in Scorpio is the part of nature that is the transmutating force that eliminates and removes what old, stagnant, forceful energy prevents us from actualizing our truest nature. That way we can remove this and we can breathe in our truer nature, our own bliss, our own heaven, our own truth, our own reality, with ease, with gentleness. And it is funny because this purging process is very much relatable to vomiting physically. The energetic purge is very similar. And this process of Scorpio is descending into the underworld. Scorpio is the underworld. This full moon is illuminating our own underworld, which is revealing what dis-ease exists within us. Now, we have been culturally conditioned to believe that dis-ease itself is the problem. When we get sick, we need to find a drug to eliminate the sickness. This is not how nature fundamentally works. Sickness itself, dis-ease itself, is causing us to address a fundamental problem, a force, a block that is preventing us from accessing our own gentle, automatic, free-flowing, and easy nature. Therefore, being sick is not the problem. Being sick is the means to eliminating the problem. So last week, the person commented, you don't look so good. It's because I felt like I was getting sick. Because we have all this collective energy, all of these issues going on within us on a very deep, unconscious level that is preventing us from actualizing our truest, gentlest nature. Nature is like a plant that grows from the earth. This plant growing from the earth, does that seem like a very forceful image to you? When we imagine a flower growing and then blooming and the leaves unfold, the petals unfold, does this seem like a forceful process to us? No. Nature is not inherently forceful. It is actually the forceful aspects of nature that prevent nature from being what it naturally is, that creates the problem, that creates the disease, which creates the need to confront these fundamental forces that are limiting, that are confining our natural, easy nature from automatically and effortlessly blossoming forth The way the flower reaches up to the sun is the same way we reach up to God. And we breathe in heaven and we anchor it into this earth. We make this earth a heaven. Automatically, naturally, effortless. This is our nature. Why must we confront some things? Because there is an awful lot of forces that are preventing this nature from being realized here on earth. There is so much forcefulness that actually limits this nature that many of us, actually the majority of us, do not believe that this is our fundamental nature. We have been limited, we have been confined by unnatural, man-made mechanisms and forces that act to limit nature from being how it actually is, which creates disease, pain, and the need to confront these forces that must be removed. Forces such as the concepts that this is not our nature to create heaven on earth. There is religious dogma, there is cultural conditioning, there is generational karma conditioning that says, no, this world is not heaven. This is not a bliss reality. There is a job to do. There is a need to limit. There is a need to conform. There is a need to adhere. There is a need to do work that is hard, that is forceful, that is brittle and harsh. And we therefore become disconnected from our own inherent nature. So, long story short, this is what is happening with this full moon in Scorpio. It is illuminating within us the fundamental forces that needs to be addressed in order to actualize our fundamental, easy, free-flowing, gentle nature. So, a full moon in Scorpio can create reactions. A full moon in Scorpio is about confronting what our actual desires are. This is what I want. And this desire is so passionate. I want this so badly that there is pain here. There is tension here because something is not letting me do this. Something is preventing me from getting what I want. Something is causing me tension. Something is causing me dis-ease. And it happens to each of us on an individual, entirely unique way because we are individual people. We are part and parcel of nature. Therefore, we also simultaneously carry collective stories. Our own unique way of experiencing a forcefulness that prevents our own natural nature is going to be connected to the same forcefulness that prevents the inherent discovery of other people's nature. There is a connection between these things, but in order to discover this, we must go within ourselves. We must do the work, we must do the descent. It's very interesting from where we now stand in time, because we are here to do work and we are also here to not do work. The doing work part of the process is the descension into our own limiting, conditioned mechanisms, structures that limit our nature. This is a descent into the past. Why do I have this emotional reaction? It is because of this very deep unconscious conditioning. This is why it is so important that we must descend into Scorpio. And this process does not come the most easily to people. Do people like to vomit? No, people will do anything to not vomit. And yet, the shamans in South America say that the ayahuasca vomit is the most healing medicine in the world. It's not even the ayahuasca, it's the vomiting caused by the ayahuasca that is the most medicinal thing in the world. We think this vomiting is a problem and we should prevent ourselves from vomiting. We should take whatever drugs to keep that stuff down. And that is preventing the grace and the bliss and the highest medicines known to man from coming into our being because we are afraid to confront what is there. And this happens via so many ways. We are taught via external forces, via religious dogma, cultural, parental, school forces that cause us to limit our natural nature. Why are there so many angry religionists out there? Because they adhere to a specific way, a dogma, guidelines, rules, regulations. I must conform to this way. This is what makes me a spiritual person. And one of the most prevalent downfalls to this spiritual conditioning is the conditioning that in order to be the best spiritual person, I must put myself last. This is one of the most all-pervasive pitfalls in the world of spirituality, in the world at large. We have been conditioned this by religion. We have been conditioned this by our school. Everything. Teachers, whatever. We are taught that a nice person puts themselves last. Therefore, my concerns are of the family. My concerns are of the relationship. My concerns are of the home, the job, and I am going to ignore my own dis-ease, my own discomfort, because that comes last, which is the same as fundamentally preventing my own evolution. And we think that's going to help other people, and that's the most spiritually evolved thing to do. Prevent my own evolution by confronting my own issues, by avoiding confronting my own dis-ease, by avoiding confronting the fundamental forces that prevent me from actualizing heaven on earth and my own inherent bliss, such as concepts like you must put yourself last, that heaven comes later, it doesn't come now. These ideas will keep us in prison. And so long as we avoid confronting the prison that we have already built, so long as we avoid confronting that, the disease, the pain will increase, increase, increase until we have no choice but to go there. This is how reality works, to force us back into our nature of being constantly evolving towards heaven, towards bliss, towards perfection. If we lose track of that being our nature, we are forced to get back into it. By prison and hell becoming more and more and more intense, by forcing us to confront the fundamental forces that prevent this natural evolution from happening. So we have to confront our own issues. And as soon as we do this, liberation, we remove the toxins from our being. Is this not what we want to do? Remove the toxins from our being and this world in order to heal ourselves and the planet? People are conditioned with the belief that we must reserve our own healing in order to focus on doing the right thing in order to guarantee our safety and our heaven later, which is a fundamentally flawed conditioning because it's actually preserving hell on earth. You're preserving your own hell, which is connected to the earth, which is keeping hell on earth. Where if we confronted this, removed it, we would be bringing heaven directly into earth through our own being, which requires healing ourselves. We heal the earth through healing ourselves. We heal the earth by healing the past, by healing human history, which means that we have to confront the issues of how we have been beaten up, suppressed, and confined to a prison by the reality that we came into and was conditioned by, which means that it's not already perfect. You don't receive the lesson and it's already perfect, and that's why all of a sudden everything becomes perfect. No, angry religionists are angry because they don't have it right. They feel the need to crusade and convert everybody else to their religion because they are discomfortable. They're in pain. Therefore, they're frustrated. They're angry. How come everybody else isn't doing it the way I am? Because you're severely unattractive. Because you're keeping hell on earth. Because you're preventing evolution, because you are only keeping stagnation, you are keeping hell on earth. That's why nobody wants to follow you. So we must heal ourselves first. And this is the time to see it done. This is the time to see our own fundamental forces revealed to us through our own emotional reactions. We are very angry for very good reason. We are very frustrated for very good reason. We have so much pain in our hearts for very good reason. We don't need to, I'm going to hide away from that pain and discomfort to be a good person now, and then later I'll get to go to heaven. We heal ourselves first, and then we create heaven on earth by becoming beacons of heaven. So this is the process that we have all been going through, and we are going through, and now the full moon has culminated, and now the moon is waning through the next 2 weeks. Which means those fundamental forces get purged out, the toxins get purged out, and new, gentle, creative energy takes its place. This is the energy of softness, of gentleness, of freedom. You have removed the forces, you have removed the prisons that kept you held in a specific form from being able to be creative. Now we have creative potential. Now we can invent a new future that is better than the past. Now we can evolve instead of repeating the cycles again and again and again. So the astrology of this week, what's going on? We've been talking about the moon. Where's the sun? The sun's been in Taurus for the last 2 weeks, will be in Taurus for the next 2 weeks. Taurus is about discovering our own inner sanctuary, our own inner heaven that gives us the security, the permission, the inner strength to become beacons of heaven, to understand that we have the creative potential to make this world a Garden of Eden, and that this is our potential, and that this is what we can do by being in touch with that reality within ourself. This is the highest octave of Taurus. We are getting our shit together right now by getting rid of all the distractions, all the stupid stuff that has kept us from actualizing this inner heaven and this inner sanctuary. What's going on with the moon is the moon's going to move into Sagittarius tomorrow. Got this Jupiterian philosophical energy coming in. The sun is square to Jupiter today. This is a good time of exploring these issues. And we have Mercury forming a square to Neptune on Thursday. And actually Mercury is starting to slow down. And in 2 weeks we're having a Mercury retrograde that will take us through the month of June. Why is Mercury starting to slow down? I wonder if it has anything to do with the amount of stuff that is being brought up from the surface right now, and the intensity of this movement from the past to the future is so great. There's so much information. There is so much revealed through this purging. Oh my goodness. I wasn't angry because of this. I was angry for a much deeper reason. I wasn't upset because of this reason. I was upset for a much deeper, fundamental reason. This is a realization. This can be mind-blowing. Oh my goodness. I was blaming myself. I was blaming this situation, and it's so much deeper. So there is a huge amount of stuff that can be coming up, and this can take our mind for a spin. Mercury moved into Gemini last week. The mind's getting quicker, quicker, quicker. It's like super excited. There's so many possibilities. A square to Neptune is like so many vistas open up, so many possibilities. It's so uncertain. It's so confusing. There's so much there. It's like an ocean of material is surrounding us. So Mercury is slowing down, preparing to go retrograde, to give us an entire month to dissect these themes that are already coming up. And on that trek back and forth through Gemini, throughout June, Mercury is going to pass Neptune in square 2 more times. We are getting deeper and deeper into how to recondition our minds, how to see the world in a different way that allows for natural, spiritual truth to blossom from us as natural and effortless as the flower reaching towards the sun. So also we have going on this week is Thursday, the moon is going to move into Capricorn, and Thursday, Venus enters Cancer. And this is very, very nice, because Venus has, for the last month, been in Gemini. It's been busy. We've been meeting so many people. It's been so much networking, so much communication, which is nice to communicate, to network, to form bonds. But when Venus moves into Cancer, these bonds get more intimate. It gets more gentle. Our values kind of shift. It becomes a little less technical and a little less busy, and what am I doing out there? And it becomes more about what's going on in my immediate environment. I want to feel like my relationships are like family to me. How can I create my intimate relationships and my friends and my relationships to my parents and my children? How can I increase the family-esque energy there? How can I increase nurturance, increase safety, so we can feel safe together? And isn't this the same as gentleness? Here, let me be soft. Let's create a soft environment. Not forceful, soft environment. There is room to breathe here. There is room to pioneer. There is room to create originally, to allow your inner child to take the reins and become what he or she knows that she is in her heart, and to be free with it, like a child with a paintbrush who doesn't have to deal with art school, rules, regulations, how to be a painting, all the famous paintings of the past. Who gives a shit? Just paint. Just be your own nature and let it out, let it shine, let it free. This is what Cancer gives us the capability to do. In order to get to that sun, in order to get to Leo, the illumination, you must go through Cancer, which is the softness, which is the moon. Get into your feelings. How do I feel close with those? How do I create an environment that is soft, that is secure, that is nurturing, to allow for the safety needed to be able to let our inner child out, to be able to let our hearts open, and let this creativity pour out. We must have the softness, the security, the flexibility, the nurturance to be able to do this. And if we are going into hell and we are removing our own forces in order to create a higher, more evolved potential in the future, what must we do is we must do this for ourselves. What we are fundamentally dealing with here is that at the root of it, we have been conditioned by unnatural forces that serve to strip us of our own natural creativity. Which means in order to undo this forcefulness, we must apply more gentle nature. We must be softer, we must be more compassionate, we must be more nurturing. Think about how this is the opposite of slamming the Bible on the table and say, you must do it this way. This is the opposite of that. It says you are a human being. You are spiritual by your own divine nature. Find it yourself. Have the freedom, the time, the luxury, the security to find that connection yourself without having to do it this way. In which case you limit to yourself to being a robot in the consensus reality, where now we have thousands and thousands of army religions and drones adhering to culture, adhering to tradition. And they do not understand. We are not yet connected with our own nature, that this is heaven already. That we have the freedom to discover our own spiritual reality at our own luxury. So long as we're being sincere, so long as we're not running away from our reality, we have the room, the luxury, the time to explore it and to enjoy it, which creates the energy that we need to manifest heaven on earth, to create this future that is warm, that is nurturing. Let us get together as brothers and sisters, hold each other's hands and give each other permission to be free, to be soft, to be warm, to be nurturing, and I will still be there for you. You're not damned, you're not doing it wrong. Be free, my child. Be nourished, my child. Be nurtured, my child. And this is the removal of the forcefulness that says this is not how life should be. Incorrect. This is how life should be. So let us remove everything and anything that stands in our way. And isn't this a wonderful time to be having Mother's Day on Sunday? Venus just moving into Cancer, Mercury square to Neptune. We have this ethereal, warm, new energy that comes in following our purge. This is the best time to be a human being. You did it. You already purged out the shit. You got rid of those emotions. You confronted the bottom of the barrel. Now we get to move forward. Now we get to have grace and mercy and bliss showered upon us. And recognize what it is that we did wrong in the past, which was prevent this gentle ease, this loving nurturance, this motherly compassionate force from being all-pervasive within and without ourself, which means that we have the job of reconditioning our minds, our body, our emotions to be this gentle force. We must be like a mother to our own self. We must be like a mother to our mind, to our emotions. We must care for it. We must nourish. We must desire to have secure intimacy with our own nature and speak to ourselves that way. Do the opposite of be forceful. Give ourselves the freedom to be that child. Give ourselves that paintbrush. Not the lessons, not the cookie cutter. Just give ourselves the freedom to be who we naturally are. And we will find ourselves having an incredibly productive week. So many things are expanding. We have the sun in trine to Pluto this week. Forward moving, transformation taking us forward, productive, evolution is happening on the individual level. Our identity is evolving, is getting closer to heaven. We also have asteroid Juno approaching Jupiter this week, and asteroid Vesta approaching Chiron this week in Pisces. These two aspects are very wonderful opportunities for us to get deep into our own spiritual understanding, the understanding of the universe, the understanding of natural law, and simultaneously to become focused on our practice, on what is my own practice to myself. How do I take care of myself? How do I take care of others in a nurturing, soft, loving, giving way? We have so many opportunities now opening up to us because we have taken the initiation. We have done the journey. We have done the hard work. And it does pay off. So many gifts, so many blessings showering upon us now. Let us see it for the truth that it is. Let us prove to ourselves that this is reality, that heaven is within ourselves already, and we must simply reconnect with our own nature, to see it so, to make it so, and to make it reality in this world. So be it. And I'm wishing all the best to you and your beloveds. You can get in touch with me at the link below. We can look at your chart. We can see how this Mercury retrograde the next month is going to affect you. We can see your own evolutionary journey. What forces you are confronting within yourself, that you are removing within yourself to release the natural energy and natural being that you are, and to shine in perfect harmony and bliss. All the best to you and yours. Namaste.